Hi, I'm Heather Darden. This is a 1 hour flow for hip openers and heart openers. You will need a few props, and I will show you what you need right now. Always have water nearby so that if you get thirsty as you practice, you can take a break and get hydrated. You also would like to have a strap. If you don't have one of these yoga straps at home, you can easily use one of those towels, the really absorbent microfiber towels for your hair. Those are the perfect size. You can also use a hand towel or a beach towel. Those are great. If you have any yoga blocks, a block or two is useful for this particular practice on this video. If you don't have any blocks, you can use things like a rolled up beach towel or a rolled up or folded up Mexican blanket. Those can also work to take the place of a block. And if you don't have any of that, just maybe like a really thick hard-backed book, should be about 3 to 4 inches thick. And this practice doesn't have to be done with props. It is easier with the props, but you don't necessarily have to have them. If you aren't going to use the props, just be careful with your body. Make sure you're not going too far in the stretches that we're going to use the props with. So with that, let's begin in a seated position. You want to make sure you've moved the flesh away from your sitting bones so you can sit down on the bones themselves, stack them up nice and tall. I'm in an easy seated pose. If easy seated pose is not comfortable for you, please feel free to sit with your legs out in a wide V in front of you, or you can bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to open out. That's another really comfortable position. All of these are slight hip openers. If you do have really tight hips, you can take a block or a rolled up yoga mat or your Mexican blanket and place that underneath your sitting bones instead. So you're now up a little higher, allowing your hips to open up just a little bit more. Mine are feeling tight this morning, so I'm going to be sitting on a block just for this first part of class. So once you're here in your comfortable seated position, take a moment, maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Leave them open and let the eyelids be heavy, and just gently unfocus your eyes if you're not comfortable closing them. You can put your palms down if you need more grounding. If you need more receiving, you want to take in whatever energy is around you, you can sit with your palms facing up on your knees or thighs. I'm going to do with my palms up today just because that's how I'm feeling. Take a moment, roll your shoulders back and down a few times. Take your chin to your chest. Gently roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. Breathe deeply here. If you want to, you can bring your right hand up and gently place it on top of your head. You're not pulling down with your hand, you're just letting the weight of your hand and arm draw your neck muscles just a little bit longer. And if this is too much pressure, please just let go, place your hand back on your lap. Don't ever crank your neck one direction or the other. Let the neck just release on its own time. Slowly bring your chin to the center. Take a moment to notice the difference between your two sides, one stretched out, one not yet stretched out. And then take your left ear toward your left shoulder. Again, if you want a little more intensity and sensation on this opening side, you can bring your left hand up and place it on the side of your head. For me, that's a little too intense, so I'm going to be bringing my hand back down to my lap. Just make sure it feels good for you. And nothing should ever feel uncomfortable or painful. If you feel like you want to crawl out of a pose, or if your face is making an angry face, Then maybe back up just a little bit so you can find a little more ease in what you're doing. Gently bring your head to center. Notice how both sides feel a little more open. See if you can make your shoulder blades slide down towards your waist just a little bit more. Find a little more length in your neck. And then gently bring your head up. Take a moment to find your breath now that your neck is nice and long. You may want to place your hands on your body, one on your lower abdomen, one on your upper abdomen or chest, and just find your breath. So you're not here to change your breath in any way. You just want to notice what is happening. So where do you find your breath? Is it more in your upper abdomen or lower abdomen? What kind of pace does your breath have? Again, there's no judgment attached to how your breath is coming and going. You're just here to observe. Notice how your breath is leading you to feel, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. See if you can let your shoulders be just a little heavier while you focus on your breath. Throughout this class, I'll be reminding you to come back to your breath. If at any point during the practice you feel like you cannot breathe deeply, please take a moment, slow down, maybe come into child's pose or downward facing dog, come back to your breath, and then rejoin the practice. If you're out of breath, you're not going to be able to match your movement with your breath, and it will be harder to do the practice, and you won't really reap all the benefits from it that you could. So if you're still on your block and you want to stay there, that's fine. We're going to do some seated postures here. This is where the belt will come in handy, or the towel. So you just want to take your belt and grab it in the middle. So first you start out with it at about shoulder width apart. So your hands are basically in line with your shoulders with an overhand grip. I'm going to bump mine out just a little bit wider. So probably about 4 to 6 inches on each side wider. And then I'm going to take a wrap around my hands. So now the belt is wrapped around my hands. It's slightly wider than my shoulders. You can take it out even wider if you want to, and you'll know whether or not you need to in just a moment. Right now it's at shoulder height. I'm acting like I'm pulling the strap apart to keep it nice and long and to engage my shoulders. Just take a moment and notice where you feel the engagement. I feel it mostly between my shoulder blades and in my upper back. I also feel that I want to hike my shoulders up, but I'm not allowing that to happen. I'm keeping them engaged, moving down towards my waist. Inhale, bring the strap up over your head, still pulling it apart. Squeeze your shoulder blades together at the top, and then bring it back in front of your face, in front of your shoulders. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, take it down. Keep the muscles of your belly engaged so you're not sending your bottom back too, just your arms. And exhale, 2 more like this. We'll increase the motion in a little bit. Inhale up, exhale back down. Inhale, take it up. Exhale back down. So you can leave it at this distance. If you have any shoulder injuries like I do, I have a long history of them, I'm going to take them out just a little bit wider because I have a bunch of scar tissue that keeps me from taking my shoulders into their full range of motion without some help. If that is the case for you, you're going to want it even wider, probably about 2.5 feet wide. If you're okay, just leave it where it was before. Inhale, bring your arms up and see how far back you can take them. Some people will be able to bring it all the way down and then all the way back up at that shorter distance. I've got to take it, as you can see, I have very little hanging off on the ends here. So make sure it feels comfortable for you. This is just a nice slow motion. Inhale, exhale, take it down to your bottom. Inhale, bring it up over your head. Exhale, down to your bottom. Inhale, back up to your head. Keep a slight bend in your elbows. Don't lock them out. And come back up. Exhale. Inhale. One last one. Exhale down. Inhale, come back up. Keep holding on to the strap and just take your arms over to your right side, keeping that gentle pulling motion. You might notice a stretch in your left underarm. You want to keep squeezing your shoulder blades together. The sensation may be in a slightly different place for you. Just make sure you're keeping your belly engaged so you're not sticking your butt back behind you, creating a back bend that will lead to soreness. Inhale, center. Exhale, take it over to your other side, your left side. And again, I'm still pulling the strap apart strongly, not locking my elbows out. And just notice where you feel the stretch. Breathe deeply into whatever you find. Like I said, for most people, it's going to be somewhere in their underarm area, maybe between the shoulder and elbow, depending on how you use your body. And then inhale, center. Exhale, bring it back down. So we're going to do one last really good heart opener with the strap. And then we'll come down for a little warm up on the ground and then move on with our standing practice. So I am getting sore on my block, so I'm going to move it out of my way. You can do what you would like to do. I'm going to turn my back to you so you can see what exactly I'm doing with the strap, but you should still be able to hear me with the microphone. So you want to come into either a kneeling position with your bottom on your heels, or you can come back to that easy seated pose either up on a block or on the ground. Have your belt in your right hand. I like to have it about halfway down. My belt is long enough that that works for me. If you have really long arms and a really long torso, you may want to grab it where you just have a few inches hanging down. Take your left arm out next to you and then slide your hand along your waist. If you want to, you can take your other hand, grab it, and bring it even further over if that's comfortable for your shoulder. And then you're going to bring your right arm up, bend at your right elbow, and reach up with your left hand for the strap. So now you're going to try to walk your hands along the strap toward each other to come to half cow face pose. So we're not doing the legs for cow face, so it's not full cow face. Watch the temptation to let your head fall forward and your elbow press into it. Keep reaching your elbow up. Keep your head in line with your spine. There's also a temptation to stick your bottom out. Keep drawing your belly button up toward your head. Reach up with your elbow. See if you can walk your hands a little closer. About 4 more breaths here. We'll breathe together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, straighten your right arm, let go of the strap with your left hand. Take both arms out, circle out your wrists, roll out your shoulders. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So bring the strap into your left hand. Take your right hand, slide it along your waist, maybe grab it and pull it over a little bit. Bring your left arm up, long, bend at the elbow, reach for your middle back. Grab the strap with your right hand and walk your hands toward each other. Watch your left elbow, keep it reaching up toward the ceiling. Keep drawing your belly button up toward your nose to keep your spine long. Find a gentle tuck to your chin so the back of your neck stays long. And breathe deeply here. See if you can relax in your right shoulder just a little bit. Maybe walk your hands a little closer. You'll notice that the sides are very different. We use our shoulders and arms very differently on each side. If you work at a desk and you're doing a lot of mousing, usually one arm does more mousing than the other. So you may notice more tightness on one side than on the other. 4 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly straighten your left arm. Release the belt with your right. Put the belt down off to the side. We'll use it later. Roll your shoulders back and down. Circle out your wrists, both directions. Circle out your shoulders. Roll them back and down. Roll them forward and down. And then 1 more back and down just so you feel more open rather than closed off. And then come to child's pose. If you've been kneeling, you might need to release your back a little bit. So you may want to press into the mat and really kind of wiggle your bottom side to side to find a little more release. And then you can take your knees wide or leave them together and come down into child's pose. Notice how your shoulders feel. See if you can melt just a little bit more here. Two more breaths here in child's pose, releasing as much as you can with each exhale. Inhale, press into your hands, walk them in toward you. Come up onto your knees, bring your knees underneath your hips. Hands are underneath your shoulders for a little cat-cow to release just a little bit more. Inhale, sway your back, gaze forward, cow. Exhale, arch your back strongly, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Really draw your belly button towards your nose. Inhale, cow. Just two more. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Take your hands out about 4 to 5 inches in front of you. Turn your toes up underneath you. Press up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few moments here. Bend your knees alternately. Notice how they're feeling. Check in on your belly. Are you drawing the muscles beneath your belly button in and up? That's definitely something you want to be doing to support your lower back. Come up onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees. Take your heart toward your upper thighs, and then see if you can just very gently straighten your legs. Keep a micro bend in your knees. Don't lock your knees out. And notice how that shifts some of the weight to the backs of your legs, to the legs themselves, rather than all the weight being in your shoulders and arms. 2 more deep breaths here. Breathe deeply. With your next inhale, take tiny steps forward, all the way up to your hands for a forward fold. Hang heavy. Bring your hands to opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe you bend your knees alternately. Let your head go. Shake it yes. Shake it no. Let it be heavy. And find some gentle movement here. Maybe you sway your torso. Maybe you bend your knees alternately like I'm doing. Whatever you're doing, let your head be very heavy. And breathe. Bring yourself to stillness. Press into the soles of your feet. Bend your knees. And slowly stack yourself up. Draw your belly button in toward your spine. Slowly stack up. Roll your shoulders back and down. Hopefully you feel a little more awake. Got the blood flowing a little bit now. You'll have noticed that there's no music accompanying this. This is so you can choose your own music. You want to choose something that brings you joy, helps you to feel motivated and grounded at the same time. So whatever that is for you, for me, that tends to be a lot of 80s music. I was born in the 80s or in the 70s, so the 80s were really my time, and I enjoy the music of that time very much. So we're going to come to a mountain position at the top of your mat. We're just going to move through some modified sun salutation A's. They are modified because I have shoulder issues and some issues with my core not being as strong as it was because I had my appendix taken out. So if you know a different version of this and you want to do that, please feel free to do that. My cues are for beginners, for those recovering from injury, and for myself. So here we go. Take care of your body, flow with your breath. Roll your shoulders back and down. Breathe deeply, get a sense of where you are in space. Close your eyes. Notice where the weight is in your feet. See if you can get it evenly distributed along the whole foot, still lifting the arch. And we'll begin with the next inhale. Inhale, bring your arms out and up. Look up if you'd like to. You can bring your hands to prayer or just leave them in line with your shoulders. Slide your shoulder blades down towards your waist. First one, we'll do 2 breaths in each pose. After that, we'll speed it up a little bit. Exhale, dive forward into forward fold. 2 breaths here. Inhale, half forward fold, press into your shins or your thighs. Make the number 7 with your body. So make sure you're not looking up. Keep your chin tucked so the back of your neck is long. You're sending the crown of your head forward and your sitting bones back. Keep a slight bend in your knees. Remember, don't lock them out. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Make sure you can get your hands all the way down on the mat and step your feet back for high plank. I'll be doing high plank on my knees, working on my core strength. So I'm still pressing the mat away strongly. I am drawing my shoulders apart and really activating the muscles between my shoulder blades so my upper back is very strong. Drawing my belly button in and up and breathing deeply. Stay focused on your breath. Slowly, keeping your elbows close to your body, lower yourself all the way down. For the first time, we're just going to do a baby cobra. After that, if you want to do full cobra, feel free. Keep the tops of your feet pressed down. Press down with your hip bones. Scoop your belly button up towards your head and just curl up a little bit. You can float your hands up if you'd like. We'll stay here for 2 breaths. Keep pressing down strongly with your toes. You want to feel your glutes activated. You can reach your arms back too. Exhale, lower down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press into your knees or turn your toes up underneath you. Press up into half plank and then full plank. And then shift back to downward facing dog. Move your feet if you need to. We'll be here for 3 breaths. We stay a little bit longer in down dog just because it's a resting posture. It's a good pose to recalibrate your breath. So here we go. 3 deep inhales and exhales. Remember, your breath will be at a slightly different pace than mine. So if you need to take more breaths or fewer breaths, that's fine too. Just move with your breath. Inhale, look up, step up, float up, hop up if you want to. I'll be stepping to come all the way up to forward fold at the top of the mat. Press into your shins or your thighs. Look out and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, you can come all the way up. I'm going to stack this time. You can also hinge. And bring your arms out and up. Exhale, bring your hands through prayer and down by your sides. Samasthiti, same standing pose. Breathe deeply here. Check in on your breath, check in on your mountain. We're going to go through that 4 more times. So 4 more sun salutation A's. If you would rather do it with your breath than with my count, please feel free. The first 2 times, I'll be naming the breath and the posture. The last 2 times, it'll be just the breath. If you forget something, just look up or make something up. This is your practice, remember? You have agency. Inhale, bring your arms out and up, victorious mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands down. Shift your feet back, lower down. It's a really long exhale. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, sphinx, a back bend of your choice. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, moving through plank to downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Inhale, look up, step, hop, or float up. Forward fold. Press into your shins or your thighs. Look out and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up, stacking or hinging. Bring your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart and then by your side. Make the next one as fluid as you can. Fluid as your breath. My clothes are having issues today. I apologize. Inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, look out and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. Long exhale. Plank on the knees, regular plank. Elbows close by as you lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale. Inhale, press up and back. Downward facing dog, 3 breaths. Remember, this is 3 of my breaths, so it may be faster or slower than yours. Just do 3 of your breaths. Inhale, look up, step, hop, or float up. Look out and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Stack or hinge, bring your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart and then at your sides. Inhale and exhale here. The next 2 are with your breath. I will call out inhale and exhale. Focus on keeping the muscles beneath your belly button engaged, on making your movements as water-like as possible, as fluid as possible. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Long exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 3 inhales and exhales here. You can close your eyes during this last part. I encourage you to do so. It'll help you to turn inward and really focus on flowing like water, and breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Stay focused on your breath. If it's moved up into your upper chest, take a moment and move it back down to your lower lungs. If it has sped up, take a moment here and see if you can draw the inhales and exhales out just a little bit longer. Stay with your breath. With your next inhale, open out on your mat. Take a nice wide stance. Turn your left toes out so they're facing toward the front of your mat. Turn your right toes in about 45 degrees so they're turned in slightly. Breathe deeply. Inhale, take your rib cage over your left thigh. Come into triangle pose. This is one where I really like to use my block. I'll place my left hand on it. I use it to draw my spine a little longer. And then I gently press in on it to see if I can open my chest and my hip toward the ceiling just a little bit more. You can look down at your bottom hand. You can look at the wall in front of you. You can turn your head and look up at your right middle finger. Take your shoulders away from your ears. We'll be here for 5 deep breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5. Look down at your left hand. Bend your left knee. You can leave the block there. Take it down to a lower setting maybe. Bring your hand down and take your right hand over your head. See if you can turn your heart just a little bit more. You can look up at your right middle finger again, or you can stay looking down at your left hand. Draw the belly button in and up. See if you can turn your hip open just a little bit more. This is long side angle pose. Breathe deeply. Inhale, come up, bring the block with you. Turn your left toes in slightly. Turn your right toes so they face the bottom edge of your mat or the top edge, depending on how you look at it. Switch the block to your right hand. Take your rib cage over your right thigh and tick-tock over to your version of triangle. Remember, if you're using the block, you're not just blopping onto it. You're using it to draw yourself a little longer and see if you can open your heart and your hip just a little bit more toward the ceiling. If it helps to put your hand on your hip so you can feel that opening, or you can find a gentle pressure to help you open it, feel free to do that. You don't have to leave it up in the air. And again, you can look down at your foot or up at your hand. About 3 more breaths here and melt your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, look down, bend your right knee, maybe switch the height of the block or come to your fist and bring your left arm over. You can gaze up at your left middle finger. You can gaze down at the block. You want your left knee to have a deep bend in it. You're still pressing into the outer edge of your right foot. So this leg has some weight in it too. Seeing if you can turn your hip toward the ceiling just a little bit more in long side angle. 3 more breaths here. Inhale. Take the block off to the side. Come all the way up. Turn both sets of toes in slightly. Make sure they're in line with each other. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Hang heavy. You can bring the block here and put your hands on the block. Use it to draw yourself a little longer. Alternatively, you can bring your hands in line with your feet and draw yourself a little closer. Let your head be heavy. Press into the outer edges of your feet and lift your arches up. Really engage through the inner leg here. 4 more deep breaths here in forward fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come up to a half forward fold. Turn your left toes toward the top of your mat. Come up on the ball of your right foot. Maybe hop your foot forward a little bit for Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. This is another one where I like to use my blocks. You can bring them on either side of your front foot. Draw your left hip back and your right hip forward. Inhale, press into the blocks of the ground. Lengthen like you do in half forward fold. And then fold a little closer. 5 deep breaths here. Keep drawing your belly button in and up. And stay focused on making your breath as effortless and fluid as possible. Around breath number 3. 4. 5. Inhale, bend your left knee, come up, high lunge. Keep drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward. Really stabilize through your hips. You want to turn this into crescent lunge with a back bend. You want to inhale your rib cage up so you're not crushing anything in your lower back. And then lift open. I will not be doing the back bend. That's a little too much for my back right now. But I will concentrate on keeping my knee above my ankle, drawing my left hip back and my right hip forward. 3 more breaths here. 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn this into warrior 1. So turn your right toes out slightly so they're at an angle. Place the whole foot down. Press into the outer edge of your foot. If moving your foot like this hurts your back knee, just stay in high lunge. There's no requirement that you come into warrior 1. You might want to ooch your front foot forward a little bit. Keep drawing your left hip back and right hip forward. 5 breaths here. Draw your shoulder blades down towards your waist. Keep your chest open. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Slowly turn your left toes in. Turn your right toes out. Coming to warrior 1 on your other side. So now your right knee is bent. You're drawing your right hip back and left hip forward. Press into the outer edge of your left foot. Breathe deeply. Slide your shoulder blades down towards your waist. Remember, if Warrior One does not work for your back knee, just come to high lunge. Breathe deeply. This time, change the arms a bit. Come to goalpost arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Three more breaths here. Keep a deep bend in your knee. Keep pressing in the outer edge of your back foot. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, come up on the ball of your foot for high lunge on the other side. Bring your arms up. Inhale, exhale, goalpost. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. 3 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen both arms. Straighten your front leg, your right leg. Exhale, hinge over for pyramid pose. Grab your blocks if you need them. I know I do. Hop your back foot up just a little bit. And we're back in pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 5 deep breaths here. That's around 3. 4. 5. Inhale, slowly turn toward the side of your mat. Move the blocks out of your way. Turn your toes in toward each other. Inhale, lengthen. Half wide-legged forward fold. Exhale, fold. This time, walk your hands to one side. Maybe hang on to the ankle or the calf. Draw yourself a little closer. Breathe deeply. 3 breaths here. Inhale, center as you walk through to your other side. 3 breaths here. Inhale, center. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into the outer edges of your feet. Come all the way up. Step up to the top of your mat. And take a moment here in mountain pose to just breathe deeply. 3 deep breaths here. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Notice how your breath is moving. Breathe deeply. One more time through part of that sequence, a little bit faster, and then we'll be coming down to the ground for a little more floor work. Inhale, step your right foot back, turn your toes in slightly, straighten out your left leg, take your rib cage over your left thigh, tick-tock over, triangle. This time I'm floating my hand instead of using the block. We're just going to be here for 1 or 2 breaths. 1, 2. Bend your left knee, come to long side angle, reach your right arm over, turn your hips open just a little bit more and squeeze your shoulder blades together. 1, 2. Inhale, come up through star pose, turn both toes out, reach your arms out, squeeze your shoulder blades together, turn your left toes in, turn your right toes out toward the edge of your mat, straighten your knee, take your rib cage out, over your right thigh, tick-tock over, find your triangle. Breathe deeply, keep drawing your spine longer and opening your heart and your hips toward the ceiling. Bend your right knee, bring your hand down to a block, down to the ground. Take your left arm over, find a little more opening in your hips, really spiral them open. Inhale, come all the way up, star pose. Turn both sets of toes in, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. We're going to do a slightly different version of wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands out away from you like you're coming to downward facing dog. Press into your hands. Press in the outer edges of your feet and see if you can draw your heart a little closer toward your thighs. Just finding a little more opening here. Breathe deeply. 3 breaths here. Inhale, press into your hands. Walk them back in towards your body. Slowly turn your left toes toward the front. Come up on the ball of your right foot, hop it forward, pyramid pose. Breathe deeply. 3 breaths here with or without the blocks. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Continue inhaling and lengthening, exhaling and folding, using the wave of your breath to gently draw yourself longer. Bend your left knee, come up onto your right toes, come up, high lunge. Draw your left hip back and right hip forward. Straighten your left leg slightly. Turn, turn, turn your toes. Turn both toes to face toward the back edge of your mat. Bend your right knee. High lunge on this side. Spike up on your left toes. Breathe deeply. Draw your right hip back and left hip forward. Straighten your right leg. Hop your left toes up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold again. Move with the wave of your breath. Lengthening and folding. Inhale, come up about halfway. Turn, turn, turn toward the long side of your mat. Bring your feet in line with each other, toes turn in slightly, heels turn out, forward fold. Hang heavy, just 3 breaths here in this forward fold, noticing how you feel. Inhale, bring your hands to your hips, press on the outer edges of your feet, come all the way up, heel toe your feet together, and shake it out. Breathe deeply. I'm going to take a drink of water. If I'm thirsty, you should too if you're thirsty. And we're going to come down onto our mats. Bring your bottom down, take your legs out long, bring your hands back behind you and shake your legs out. We're going to come to Bharadvajasana. Sometimes it's also called deer pose. It's a nice hip opener. It's an alternative to pigeon, and it can feel really good. So you're going to bend your left knee, bring your left shin in front of you, bend your right knee, and take your right foot sort of behind you. So you're in this sort of pretty princess pose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take your hands toward the left side of your body. Press into the ground. I like to use my fingertips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist away from your legs. You can leave your head facing forward. You can turn your head and look over your left shoulder. Whatever you like the best. 4 more deep breaths here. If you're on your fingertips, make sure you're making them into rainbows instead of concaving them. That'll cut off blood and nerve flow. Inhale, return to center. Switch your legs out. So now your right shin is in front of you. Your left leg comes toward the back. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, take your twist to the right side. Get a little taller. You can look toward the wall. You can look over your right shoulder. Breathe deeply. About 2 more breaths here. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, take both of your legs out long and shake them out. 2 more seated poses before we come on to our backs. I'm going to take another drink of water because I've been talking a lot. So this next one is Ardha Matsyendrasana, or half. Ardha means half. Matsyendrasana is Lord of the Fishes. So this is a nice twist. I'll show you a couple of different variations depending on how your knees feel. Choose accordingly. So the first variation, you're going to bring your left foot underneath your bent right knee and try to take your left foot close to your right glute. Take your right foot and take it over your left knee. If this position is not comfortable for either knee, instead of bending this bottom left leg, you're going to lengthen it out in front of you instead. So choose your legs. Inhale, lengthen. So it's your right leg crossed over your left knee. Exhale, turn toward your right thigh. So you can hang on with your left arm, bring your right arm behind you like a second spine. You can also bend your elbow, hook the outside of your arm on the outside there. I'm not open enough to do that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. You can look to the side. You can look over your right shoulder. Let both legs be heavy. Breathe as deeply as you can into your twist. There is a compression here, so it will feel a little strange to breathe, but do your best. The more you can breathe into a compression, the more of a massage you'll get for your internal organs, which sounds totally yummy. But it is really good for moving stuff on through. So if you're having any digestive issues, this is a really great one for moving stuff through so you can be more comfortable in your body. Inhale, slowly unwind, come to the front. So there are a couple ways to switch legs. You can simply switch legs, and that's a lot easier if you have your bottom leg out straight. If you want to try a little fun thing with me, you can bring your hands to the left side, so outside your right big toe here. Press into both feet, turn, turn, turn. Keep turning until you're back to the front, and then bend your knees. And now you're in the position on the other side. You might need to draw your heel a little closer to your glutes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist toward your left thigh. Again, you can always hook your elbow on the outside if that's available to you. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take a twist. Look over your shoulder or look to the side. Let both legs be heavy and breathe into your left thigh. Breathe as deeply as you can. You want all that internal massage that you can get. Inhale, return to center. Undo your legs. Keep both knees bent. Leave your feet down on the mat. Take your hands back behind you. And just windshield wiper your knees side to side to release any tightness that might have resulted. Breathe deeply. Bring your legs to stillness. If you have any blocks, you're going to want to get them out of your way and put them at the top of your mat, the top edge of your mat. Have your belt nearby, somewhere along the middle of your mat, off to the side. You're going to need it in a moment. And turn onto your mat. Readjust your clothes if you need to, like me. Breathe deeply. Roll your shoulders back and down. Flex your feet toward you. Reach out toward your feet and slowly roll yourself all the way down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together underneath you. Bend your knees. Place the soles of your feet down on the mat. We're going to come into one bridge pose. If wheel is in your practice and you prefer to do wheel, feel free to do that. Otherwise, for bridge pose, see if you can reach along your body and gently brush the outside of your foot with your middle finger. Squeeze your shoulder blades together underneath you. Press into your feet, press into your shoulder blades and come up. Keep drawing your belly button up toward your head. You can walk your hands underneath you, interlace your fingers. You can roll one shoulder under and then the other shoulder under. And then press into your feet, come up a little higher. Really engage your thighs. Don't allow your knees to open out or to collapse in. Keep them in line with your ankles. Breathe deeply. 3 more breaths here. 1, 2, 3. Gently release your hands if you've interlaced your fingers. Slowly roll your spine down. Bring your knees into your chest, hug them close. Maybe you take your knees and draw circles on the ceiling. That's what I like to do. And then draw your circles the other way. Breathe deeply. Bring your legs to stillness. Reach for your belt. Do a little more hip opening before we come into Shavasana. So this is Supta Padangusthasana, or supine toe hold, foot hold, but we're going to use the belt. So you want the belt, you want to grab it about halfway so you're in the middle there. You want the middle of the belt to go on the ball of your foot, not on the arch. Hang on to both ends of the belt with your right hand. You're doing your right leg, by the way. I like to wrap it around my hand so I don't let go of it. And so I'm also not gripping with a white knuckle grip. The belt itself will hold it there. You can leave your left knee bent, or if your back is okay with it, you can slide it out long and flex your left foot. Flex your right toes towards you. Inhale, draw your foot towards you like you're trying to take your foot to the floor above your head. You can leave your left arm out to the side. It can be right beside your body or on your belly, whatever you like. 3 more breaths here. Bring your foot back in line with your hip and open your leg out to the right side. So it may or may not come all the way down. Just hang on to it. Make sure your grip is a loose one. You're not white knuckling it. And if your left hip starts to come up, you've gone over too far, so come back up. Breathe deeply. You can keep your hand on your left hip to make sure it's staying down if you like. That's always a nice tactile reminder. 2 more deep breaths here. Inhale, bring your leg back to center. Trade hands. So now both ends of the belt are in your left hand or maybe wrapped around it if you like that. Bring your right arm out into a T shape or alongside your body and draw your right leg across your body. You'll feel some sensation in your deep glutes, maybe in your hamstrings. If your hamstrings are especially tight, go ahead and bend your knees so you can relieve some of this pressure. You'll still get a stretch, but you'll do it without hurting yourself. 3 more breaths here. Inhale your leg back up to center, bend your knee in towards your chest, undo the strap, and hug your knee in. Maybe make some small circles, just moving your hip around in your hip socket there. Bring your right foot down to the mat, bend your left knee, bring your left knee in towards your body. Same thing on the other side, so place the ball of your left foot in the middle of the belt. Hang on to it with your left hand. Maybe you wrap like I do. You can leave your right knee bent. You can slide the leg out long, flexing the foot. The reason you flex the foot is to keep from hyperextending your right knee. And just draw your left leg a little closer to you as though you're trying to take it behind your head there toward the floor. 3 more breaths here. Bring your leg back in line with your hip. And now open it out to the side. I have a wall, so that's where I will stop. Breathe deeply wherever you are. And keep lengthening out through your left heel. You can press the ball of your foot into your belt. Sometimes that will create a little more sensations in places that feel good. 3 more breaths here. Slowly bring your leg up to center. Switch the belt to your right hand. And now you can bend your right knee or leave your right leg out long and draw your left leg across your body. Remember, bend your knee if the backs of your legs or your glutes are really tight. If you feel any pulling in the back of your knee, bend your knee until that feeling of pulling goes away. You want to take care of your joints. You don't want to hurt the backs of your legs. Breathe deeply. Inhale, bring your left leg to center, bend your left knee, circle your left hip inside your left hip socket. Go both directions, just checking in on it. Bring both knees into your chest, take your chin to your chest, hug yourself close and tight. And then open out into your final resting position. So it could be with your arms out beside you, your feet apart, letting your knees fall in toward each other. It could be in a supine bound angle, soles of your feet together, legs opening out. If you are mostly comfortable here but not quite comfortable, you might consider blocks underneath your thighs or knees. Or the classic position of Shavasana, where your legs are out long, slightly apart. Your arms are next to your body, slightly away from your body. Whatever position you choose, make sure it's one that you feel really good in. You want to make sure that you are focusing in on yourself. Get rid of any little wiggles, adjust your clothes, make sure that this position feels good to you. Just checking on our time. Once you've chosen a position that you like, allow yourself to relax just 10% more. Get a little bit heavier. We'll be here for about 7 minutes. So allow yourself to really be in your body. Scan your body from your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. Notice places that feel really open, and notice any places that are still holding on to tension or tightness. With your next few breaths, use your inhales to gently release those places of tightness and holding. See if you can gently unwind them as you exhale. Now gently bring your awareness to your breath. Notice where it is in your body, where it is in your lungs, and see if you can bring it deeper down into your lungs so that your breath is really deep and full. And now release any conscious breath that you're using and just breathe like you do when you're going to sleep. So your body is heavy and open. Your breath is easy and effortless. And turn your attention to the flow of energy in your body, the flow of prana. If you don't really have a sense of the flow of prana, you might want to notice. You can feel how your blood is circulating or how your body is feeling internally. Can you sense your heartbeat? Maybe you can sense some digestion happening and your breath. Go inside and really be in your body. Notice how things are moving and flowing in your body. Whatever you notice is just what's there. If you find your attention moving away from what's happening inside of your body, from noticing the flows inside your body, just very gently on an inhale, bring your awareness back to your body, back to the flow of prana. I invite you to continue turning inward, being with the flow of your breath, the flow of your prana. I just want to thank you for spending your time with me, for sharing your practice with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you feel wonderful in your body. Thank you.